Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, New St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind adjust the theme, crossing new frontiers to conquer today's challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, New St. Augustine.
I discovered how to solve the grand challenge problem of supercomputing. This supercomputing problem was called a grand challenge because it was very complicated to solve it across a new internet. I visualized that new internet to be outlined by thousands or millions of identical processors, each akin to a tiny computer. That grand challenge problem was a century-old problem in mathematical physics. That grand challenge problem was in part published as science fiction by Louis Fry Richardson back on February 1, 1922. The January 11, 1946 issue of the New York Times loosely restated that grand challenge problem as a futuristic technology that would enable 100 computers to forecast the weather all over the world and to solve the toughest problem arising in mathematical physics. That New York Times article suggested that in the future, and I quote, the United States would be divided into blocks penetrating into the stratosphere. End of quote. Fast forward 43 years to the 4th of July, 1989. I invented how to divide the United States into 64 binary thousand blocks, each penetrating into the stratosphere. I discovered how to achieve a one-to-one mapping between those blocks and the as many tightly coupled commodity off-the-shelf processors. I figured out how to reduce 64 binary thousand days or 180 years of computing to merely 1 day of supercomputing. I discovered a new way of thinking about the new fastest supercomputer and about the supercomputer of tomorrow. I thought of it not as a computer per se, but as a new global network of tightly coupled processors that is a new internet and a virtual supercomputer. It is likely that Albert Einstein, who was then 66 years old and living outside New York City, read that supercomputer story that was printed in the January 11, 1946 issue of the New York Times. My supercomputer discovery that occurred 43 years later and on the 4th of July 1989 was the new knowledge of how I harnessed a new global network of identical processors or tiny computers that encircled a globe and harnessed it as a new internet. I discovered how to use that new internet to solve the toughest problems and the most important grand challenge problems that arise in extreme scale computational physics. That supercomputer discovery was science fiction to Albert Einstein. Thank you.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.
Thank you.
insightful and brilliant lecture.